Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are right around the corner. With these games fast approaching and me completely out of Smash content to make, I'm going to talk to you guys about my team that I'm going to be using for my first trip around the Sinnoh region. If you enjoyed, please like the video, it helps out a lot, and let me know what your guys' teams would be in the comments below. I'd love to hear from all of you. And with the formalities out the way, let's jump right into the starter. I'll be honest, unless you're new to the channel, this will be a very predictable pick for me. When having to choose between the penguin, the plot of land, and quite literally a Super Saiyan monkey, there isn't much contest. So yeah, Chimchar/Infernape is my team's first choice. Aptly named Wukong after the Monkey King he'll have to channel to get through the Sinnoh League. In the past, I only very rarely ever used to nickname Pokemon, but after recently having the chance to play through Let's Go Pikachu, I nicknamed all my team members to make running through Kanto again feel a little new, and I hella enjoyed it, so I think it's something I'll be doing more from here on out. Next up is the second Pokemon to join my team, and the first one where I have the entire dex to choose from. The guy who I'll be considering as my true partner Pokemon for the region. But before I tell you who it is, I have to rant a little bit. Gen 4 has a problem. One great thing Gen 4 did was go back and add new pre-evolutions and evolutions to some Pokemon who really needed them and were deserving of more love. However, the designs they settled on for some of these evolutions were very hit or miss, with some of the highest highs and lowest lows when it comes to Pokemon designs as a franchise, not just Gen 4. Electivire, hit. Rhyperior, miss. Weavile, hit. Probopass, miss. Gliscor, huge hit, exceptional design. But one of the biggest misses and arguably my least favourite Pokemon in the whole franchise, Ambipom. What the hell were they thinking? The weird flowering around its tail wrists, the bowl haircut they decided to give him, the choice to turn Apom's mohawk into this dual alfalfa sprout, the fact that it evolves into having furry feet. Side note, I now understand why Sonic fans hate it when things give him blue arms. And the worst offender of them all is the fact that they added tips to the top of each of Ambipom's fingers, looking like he's got a fistful of Cradillies if you catch my drift. Honest to God, I pray Apom gets a regional evolution one day, or at the very least, Ambipom gets a usable regional form. But until that day comes, I'll be running Apom as my partner Pokemon. I'll be nicknaming it Aibo after the Adventures manga. Aibo also means partner in Japanese, which is clearly why they did it, but it makes it feel even more fitting for me. Anyway, rant over, on to choice number 3. I love Budew. I love Budew so much. I love Budew with all my heart. He's a small little guy in a big world doing what he can. And you know what? I commend him for that. Seriously though, I don't know which spin-off game it was. It could have been Blue Rescue Team, it could have been Shadows of Alma. Hell, for all I know, it could have been Battle Coliseum somehow. All I know is one of the Pokemon spin-offs I had as a kid made me adore Budew with all my heart. And Sunkern to a lesser extent, if that helps anyone figure out what game it was. When it comes to mainline games though, I've never actually used any of the Roselia line. When I was younger, if anything was even slightly girly, I would force myself not to like it. Very glad I'm out of that headspace now. And for that reason, I want to run a Roserade as part of my Sinnoh squad. Pokemon gender doesn't really bother me that much, but I actually do want my Roserade to be a guy. Mostly because I want to nickname it Zoro after the One Piece character because the colours match up, but also because that way I could tote it as being Super GNC, and completely defy all of the thoughts I had growing up of limiting what I enjoyed just in case it wasn't manly enough. My fourth choice is more conventional. I've actually never played through Sinnoh, at least not the whole way through. I had Pokemon Diamond on my R4, I mean my legal version of the cartridge, and though I played through a lot of it, I was a very dumb kid who constantly switched between playing that, Soul Silver and Leaf Green. So honestly, I couldn't tell you exactly how far into the game I got. But because I've never done a full run through of Sinnoh, it means I'm allowed to use at least one mon from the basic copy-paste team that everyone uses, and the Pokemon from that 6 I've chosen is Luxray. Luxray is just kind of a huge electric lion and there's nothing not to love about that. It's very clearly one of the best designs in the gen, so I practically had to use it. I was originally going to name my Luxray Darkstar, because he's black and has a star on his tail, but I thought that might be a little bit too edgy, even for me. Though, the name Darkstar got me thinking about Dragon Ball, as a lot of things do, and brought the Black Star Dragon Balls to mind, which then led me to thinking about the Shadow Dragons, and after that huge stretch of logic, I decided to settle on the name Omega for my Luxray, after Omega Shenron. I love ghost types. I was chatting to Haywire Ruckus fairly recently, and we were talking about our favourite Pokemon types. And after looking at all the different ghost Pokemon, I came to the conclusion that there are practically no misses design-wise. Sure, the Jellicent line exists, but if the worst thing I can say about an entire type is that the fish one kinda sucks, then I think it's pretty damn solid. When it came to choosing the ghost type I wanted to run on this team, however, that's where I got stuck. I knew I wanted to use a Sinnoh ghost and not cop out on something old and reliable like Gengar. Because of this, I came to 2 choices, Spiritomb or Mismagius. Spiritomb is absolutely one of my favourite ghost types. I love the design and lore around it. However, I've always wanted to use a Mismagius in some way or another. I remember briefly using a Mischievous back in Soul Silver, and I definitely had a Spiritomb on my team at one point during my Diamond save file. So both Pokemon kind of have equal footing as to who makes more sense to use. Okay, decision time. As much as I like both of these Pokemon, one has to take a backseat this time. Or rather I should say, that 108 spirits have to take the backseat this time, as Mischievous is the one I'm choosing to tackle this run through. Thematically, I think it works quite well too. I know Cynthia's running a Spiritomb, so when the time comes, I can send out my Mischievous, and I can see if it was the right choice. I was originally going to nickname it Baba, after all the old witches in anime, but it never felt quite right. Sure, Mischievous is a witch, but she's not exactly old. But then, quite literally the night before the script was written, Haywire decided to show me Kiki's delivery service, and I fucking loved it. And considering that movie stars a young witch and how much I enjoyed it, I decided to rename Mischievous to Kiki. Plus, Kiki and Baba kind of have the same vibe, which I really like. It means I'm not straying too far from my original idea. And lastly, the 6th and final member of my team is actually one I mentioned earlier. Even though I pride myself on my Pokemon knowledge, Gen 4 is one of the gens where my knowledge is kind of lacking. One fact that I found out only recently was that some Sinnoh Pokemon are extremely hard to get during the main story and were only really attainable in the postgame. That was at least until Platinum made all the Pokemon more accessible during the main story. This had me worried, as one of the Pokemon I found out was affected by this was one I've wanted to use for years. Thankfully, the trailers announced that Pokemon that couldn't normally be found during the main story of Diamond and Pearl would be catchable in these underground dens that you could find while mining. This actually brought some hope back into my life. It meant that I'd be able to use my final team member. The only thing was, now I was waiting on confirmation that he'd actually be in the underground. So every trailer I scoured, and I waited for a glimpse of this Pokemon or its pre-evolution, but it never appeared. And my hope began to dwindle. But then, on the 10th of November, 8 days before BDSP was set to release, I was sat in my room procrastinating my university work when the game's final trailer appeared in my YouTube recommendations from the Japanese Pokemon channel. Excited for my Sinnoh adventure and looking for a way to kill time, I clicked onto the trailer. And just like that, for a split second, he appeared. Gliscor was battling Volkner in the Sunshore City gym. Finally, confirmation. I jumped out my seat and rushed to show Haywire what I'd just seen. I now know for certain that I'll be able to catch a Gligar at least before the 8th gym, and thanks to this, I can safely say I'll be running a Gliscor on my team for my final member. I've wanted to use one for years, ever since I saw Ash use one in the Diamond and Pearl anime when I was a kid, and I'm really excited to finally have the chance. I plan on naming my Gliscor Raven after the Teen Titans character, because she also went from purple to black, and it feels like a fitting name. So, there you have it, my team for Brilliant Diamond. I know these remakes have been pretty divisive amongst fans, but honestly, I'm nothing but excited for them. I can't wait to play through the only region I've never completed. I don't normally plan out my teams like this, and honestly there's a high chance I get super attached to a random Pokemon I find along the way and decide to run it instead. But it would be cool to have this video to be able to look back and compare and see if I ended up running with this team that I said I would. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you're still here at this point, please do like the video if you enjoyed. It helps both me and the channel a lot. And subscribe if you're new and want to see more content. With that being said though people, I've been KDP, you've been my audience, this is my outro, and I'll see you in the next video, stream, or whatever I make. Goodbye people.